violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
An overnight shooting in Norfolk. 2 are dead, several others injured. Among those killed was 25-year-old Virginia and pilot reporter Sierra Jenkins. Ellen Ice from our sister station spoke with Jenkins' father as he visited the site where his daughter's life was tragically cut short.
For something like this to happen, like there's no bigger shock than that.
Maurice Jenkins came to visit the spot where his daughter was shot and killed.
Dang, just like that. So we have a reporter, a CNN reporter, who is shot and killed. And you guys are never going to believe why the altercation happened that led up to her death.
His hospital visitor's badge still on his shirt.
I'm assuming it happened right here. And I just wanted to come here because something just made me feel like I just, needed to just come and be where she was last at.
His daughter, 25-year-old Sierra Jenkins, just had a birthday. She was a journalist with a Virginian pilot and a Georgia State graduate.
I can just hear her voice in my head when I answer the phone, "Hey, Dad." It's just always, she was a daddy's girl.
And this is what I will say. Georgia State, the fact that she got through and survived through Georgia State is a miracle in and of itself, because that downtown Atlanta area is definitely dangerous. So much so that they have like these posts where you can press the button and the police are supposed to show up in a timely fashion. So dang, to just be taken out in the way that she was, it's crazy.
Her life cut short. An eyewitness told News 3 that gunfire erupted outside of Chico's on Granby Street around 2 a.m. Saturday. Police say several people were shot.
All kinds of life and opportunity ahead of her, but it was cut short because of senseless violence.
Jenkins now left with memories.
It's not just senseless violence, my brother. It was a super gremlin on demon time.
She was just a great all-around person. She's a great daughter, a great sister, a great friend.
Well, good evening, and thanks for joining us for 13 News Now at 11. I'm Eugene Daniel. After a surge of violence in Hampton Roads this weekend, a vigil was held tonight to remember one of the victims, the life of Sierra Jenkins. She was shot and killed in Norfolk on Granby Street early Saturday morning. Devin Harris was also killed and 3 others were injured. Angela Vargas was at a vigil today held by Jenkins' family and friends who are mourning the life of the Virginian pilot reporter.
I love my baby. I miss my baby.
Loved ones of 25-year-old Sierra Jenkins are honoring her life as a journalist, a friend, and a daughter.
I am broken. I'm barely standing.
Sierra graduated from Granby High School. Sunday, a large crowd gathered there to share stories about her.
They got the balloons out. They got the balloons ready. It's so sad and disappointing that we have to continue to do these stories and everybody's doing the balloon releases, and we know what that does to the environment. A lot of times it washes up on the shores and the beaches and the bodies of water in said city. And it's just like, dang, does the community get tired of this kind of stuff? I mean, seriously. It's candlelight vigil, balloon release after another one. It's like, what are we doing?
Large crowd gathered there to share stories about her.
I'm very thankful for the memories I did have, and I'm very thankful I ever got to know her.
Sierra's mother traveled from Georgia and spoke at the vigil.
You take my baby's piece that she left with you and apply it to yourselves.
On Granby Street in downtown Norfolk, her family also set up a memorial in front of Chicho's, where the shooting happened early Saturday morning. Sierra's father, Maurice Jenkins, said he wants the other victim who died in the shooting to be remembered. Devin Malik Harris was also 25 years old. Jenkins wrote his name down near his daughter's memorial. The family hopes justice and closure come soon.
Well, you know, at least her dad is a real one, because the only ones that I've been hearing about is Sierra Jenkins. And even though if you read the articles, they mention the other brother who passed away, but I don't know where his family's at. Maybe they didn't want to speak about it or whatnot, but it's crazy what's going on. I told you guys, it doesn't matter. Women, children, these super gremlins are on demon time.
And I just ask that you all make a change. This world is getting so bad.
It's the people at this vigil are not the ones who need to make a change. Okay? And I'm not going to try and guess the political leanings of this crowd, but I can guarantee that 90% of them are woke. Like, this event happening to them, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's so tragic that her daughter was killed like that, but, you know, it didn't happen to me. And that's the type of mentality that's going on in the community. So certain people are non-reactive, and I'm not saying they're non-reactive because they showed up at least, but are they really going to take the heed of this and say, hey, you know, there really is a problem with these super gremlins? And I can almost guarantee that the person who did this was probably out on some type of supervised bond or whatever. Okay?
But we can change it.
Norfolk police say they are still looking for who's responsible for the shooting. In Norfolk, Angelo Vargas, 13 News Now.
This morning, family and friends are remembering Sierra Jenkins, a former Atlanta news reporter shot and killed in crossfire. She was 25 years old. She worked at the Virginian Pilot, and she died after an argument turned into gunfire near a pizza restaurant in downtown Norfolk, Virginia. Jenkins earned her bachelor's degree from journalism in 2019 from Georgia State University. Then she worked as an intern at Atlanta Magazine and CNN before joining the Pilot in December 2020.
And honestly, I don't even know why they haven't said it yet, but she basically died over an argument about a cup of coffee. Obviously, this is super gremlin behavior, and they're still trying to talk to witnesses who were on the scene to figure out who did it exactly, but the super gremlin was able to escape, and now he's on the streets moving around, because they don't, well, the police may know already, but the public doesn't know who this guy is yet.
Her father says Sierra had just celebrated her birthday.
They decided to go out and something bad happened. Had all kinds of life and opportunity ahead of her, but it was cut short because of senseless violence, you know? It's a problem, and
yeah, it's a problem, and the problem is wokeness. Okay, the problem is the reforms that everybody is sweeping across the country. It's getting unlivable. No pun intended.
I don't know what can be done.
4 others were also injured in that shooting. Authorities say they're continuing to investigate, and they're asking the public for some help. So if you have information that could help, be sure to give police a call.
One of the shootings claiming the life of Sierra Jenkins, who was just 25 years old. She had recently worked here at CNN, first as an intern on an essential editorial team that we call The Row, and then as a news assistant with our health unit. Fresh out of college at Georgia State University, Sierra jumped right into one of the biggest stories in our lifetime to cover the COVID pandemic. And then she landed a great job as a reporter at the Virginian Pilot. And not too long after, she sent the team this picture, a photo of her first front page story, a story about CVS stores in her area offering COVID vaccines.
Wow. And, you know, like I said, definitely on the woke side. That doesn't mean that she deserved what happened. But we pretty much can understand where she leaned politically, and she would, I guarantee, if she was still alive and this happened to a different person, she would say that the super gremlin, the perpetrator, needs help, needs mental health rehabilitation, needs all this stuff, right? She would be the type to advocate for the super gremlin and not the victim. And that's the mindset that probably made it to where she didn't even see what was going on coming. She didn't think that she was going to argue with this super gremlin and then, or be around an argument with a super gremlin and end up dead. She didn't think that because she's not aware of, what these super gremlins are doing on demon time.
And Sierra mentioned just how important the story was to her community, that people would call the paper in tears trying to get an appointment, and how glad she was to be of service. In a statement, the pilot said that Sierra was a bright and talented woman with so much promise that she brought energy and empathy to her work as an education reporter. CNN's Elizabeth Cohen, who worked closely with Sierra, writes, "We are just devastated and broken. Every assignment she was given, she hit it out of the park, no matter how complex or difficult. On top of that, she was a lovely person and excited about every task we gave her. When she left CNN, she told us her goal was to come back someday, and we eagerly awaited that day. She was a shining..."
And the reason why I can understand and assume that it is the super gremlin who did this is because there has been no mention of the suspect or who did it to her. And if it was a glider, then CNN definitely would have picked up this story, and it would have been a whole bunch of race baiting. So, this, unfortunately, they're doing this story on her, and I'm thankful that it's been highlighted, but you're probably not going to hear much from this unless there's an update on who did it, which that is determined on the community if they're going to speak or not.
Star and a rising star with so much to offer, and now she's been taken from her family, from us, and from the world. The health team says she had a remarkably clear understanding of the importance of journalism for local communities and for the world, and she took the responsibility seriously. Sierra's dad says everyone loved her. Well, we here at CNN loved her, and our thoughts and our love are with her family at this time. Sierra Jenkins, a bright light in a world in need of them, taken far too soon.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Yeah, and that's probably the only instance of super gremlin crime that CNN is gonna cover. So there's that.
Developing now, police looking for the gunman who killed a Virginia journalist with Atlanta ties.
Friends and co-workers of Sierra Jenkins calling her a champion for truth. Joe Ripley spent the day talking to them, and Joe, in 25 short years, she certainly made an impact on those she knew.
Absolutely. Today, I got to learn about her time at Georgia State University here in Atlanta and her work with Atlanta Magazine. Those I spoke with say she leaves behind a career centered on chasing the truth and bringing more awareness to those in need. Dr. Maurice Hobson met Sierra Jenkins in his Africana Studies class at Georgia State University.
Oh, God. And I took Africana Studies, which is African American Studies, in college, and it's definitely, it was a decent class. It was a lot of discussion, which I enjoyed. It was an elective, so it was a break from my core classes. But They're heavily leaning on the woke stuff, heavily on the victim mindset, which is, you know, it is what it is. You have to understand the past to know where you're going in the future. But certain students take it on a lot stronger than others. That's what I will say.
She was a hard worker, thoughtful. She was bright. She was a galvanizing force in the classroom.
Hobson says he became a mentor for Jenkins. He called her the epitome of intellectual integrity, bringing light to issues like voter suppression, criminal reform, and reproductive rights. Over the weekend, Hobson lost his former student.
It hit me very hard. I am blessed to have been engaged by this beautiful young woman, this beautiful young spirit. I'm a better person for it.
Jenkins moved back home to Virginia after college and became a reporter at the Virginian Pilot. Early Saturday morning, police say she was hanging out with friends at downtown Norfolk, an innocent bystander in a shooting that also killed a man and injured 3 others.
They were trying to reach her to get her to cover it when they discovered she was a victim.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? The newspaper tried to call her so that she would cover the story, and she was actually the victim of a super gremlin on Demon Time.
She became part of the stories that she covered.
Betsy Riley, editor-in-chief of Atlanta Magazine, worked with Jenkins when she interned there. Jenkins did research and fact-checking, continuing to contribute to stories even after she moved to Virginia.
It still seems unreal. You know, they talk about the stages of grief, and I think I've never had such a random act of violence come so close.
Riley read me Jenkins' internship application letter.
And you know why she hasn't had this random act of violence come that close. But we talk about on my channel how I even did a live stream, which you guys can go check that out, of all the people that I know personally who were touched by a super gremlin on Demon Time.
A reminder of a pursuit cultivated in college.
I'm passionate about storytelling because of its ability to educate and inspire others.
And lived throughout her career.
You know, her dreams and goals were to really to use media and use her pen to give voice to the marginalized.
Atlanta Magazine now printing a tribute to Sierra Jenkins. They're also planning other ways to honor her memory and legacy. Betsy Riley tells me Jenkins' legacy will be that journalism matters, truth matters, and stories matter.
Full of enthusiasm and passion. That's how Sierra Jenkins' colleagues at the Virginian Pilot will remember the young journalist. Allison Basil talked to some of Jenkins' co-workers. She is live for us downtown in Norfolk tonight. Allison.
David, when we started out at the spot this morning in front of Chicho's on Granby Street, we noticed a few flowers and some writing on the sidewalk here, but now that's grown. Take a look now. Writing pretty much covers right out front of Chicho's here, and the flowers are overflowing. We see things like Sierra was here and I love you. Co-workers who worked alongside Sierra Jenkins at the Virginian Pilot calls her one of a kind. A growing memorial on Granby Street pays tribute to 2 lives cut short.
You know, it just takes your breath away. It's just unfathomable.
After shots rang out on Granby Street early Saturday morning, staff members at the Virginian Pilot say they called Sierra Jenkins to cover the breaking news. Reporter Jane Harper jumped in to help when no one could reach Jenkins.
And then a couple of hours later, an editor called me and said, another person has died, and it's Sierra.
Colleagues say Jenkins joined the paper in 2020.
But she wanted to come back to her hometown and be a reporter here.
Jenkins' father says his daughter was out with a friend when the shooting happened. He says she just turned 25 this month.
We were robbed, I think, of her full potential. You know, she had some really cool projects in the works.
Jenkins' former editor, Anna Lee, says her passion jumped off the newspaper pages.
And man, it just sounds like that this young lady was just a well-rounded individual, okay? Probably didn't understand the dynamics of the super gremlins that much, you know. Seems like she had a great upbringing, a great childhood, and she really didn't grasp the realities. Like, if I see 2 super gremlins arguing, I'm gone. I'm out of there. And maybe she was trying to do some conflict resolution. Maybe she was just, you know, chilling, not even paying no mind to it. But I'm telling you, it's tough out here, and it happens just like that.
Cared a lot about investigative journalism and accountability journalism.
Pilot reporter Celine Martin says Jenkins became a close friend.
Sierra was one of those people that I would make time for.
Martin says Jenkins started talking about going back to school.
It's so hurtful to think that she won't be able to now.
Jenkins' colleagues agree the budding journalist made the 757 a better place.
She was an amazing person, and I just hope she's at peace.
At peace. Man, how many times do we have, like, in the community, we just, I hope they rest in peace. Like, bro, they wanted more life. Like Drake said, more life.
And Jenkins' colleagues say her final story is online now and will appear in the Tuesday newspaper. Live in Norfolk, Allison Basil, 13 News Now.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.